Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you some of my stuff that I built for my kid. These are a very fast making custom cars that I made, and he asked for a few of these. It's truck that I made. It's a very simple custom truck that carries this Jeep, and you have this green semi-trailer with suspension. Again, these are very simple custom trucks that I've made for him. And today I wanted to make another one, but this time it is for you guys, and it is something that I had on my mind for some time now. This Hummer made by Welly is a car that I have, and because it has this wide window up front, I thought that it would be nice to turn it into a truck, and I always wanted to make something of these Russian trucks like the Gaz 66, if you know what I mean. And it is something that I know you can get as a plastic model, but not in the scale of 1 to 64. So I've decided that I will turn this Hummer into that Gaz 66 truck, and for some reason, I don't know why, I love these Russian trucks. They make the same trucks for the past 50 years now, and they are basically the same trucks, and they never change anything in them. They are very old, and I think they are reliable. If you have any information about them, please let me know. It reminds me the manufacturing concept of the Germans when they produced the Volkswagen Beetle for so many years. They've only improved it. And this is what this truck is all about. You can find it being used on many kind of purposes, and it varies from military truck to overland and camping truck, and also the Russian competing with this truck on some mud racings. So after seeing all these possibilities on the search that I've made on this truck on Google, I thought that maybe I will create a racing truck of it, but then I decided I will go with the origin of this truck, and that is of course a military truck. Now you can see that in this truck everything is handmade. I have to shape the headlights by using drops of epoxy glue. The technique of using epoxy glue as something that you can shape has to be very quick, because as you know, epoxy mix will not wait until you decide what you want to do with it. So you have to be very accurate in what you want and where to place it. The epoxy mix has 3 phases of hardening periods. The first phase is when the epoxy mix is very soft and you can only place it where you want. The second phase is the very important one, because then you can start to shape the epoxy mix into the shape of the piece you want to create. The final phase is where the epoxy mix is almost cured, but you can still shape it and also make some final corrections before you will give the mix the ability to cure and be strong enough to be grind and shaped with file or sandpaper. Now let's have a look at the cabin, and you will see that the headlights have nice shape after letting them dry completely. Now let's move on to the next step, and is to create the bed of this truck. Again, my favorite material for this kind of task is this metal plate I'm using. For some unknown reason, I never do any measurements for the pieces that I'm cutting. And I guess it is mostly because I don't want my custom creations to last too much. And it never fails me. I see all the parts that I want to cut, I imagine them in my head, and then I just cut them. And even if I will have a mistake, I can start all over again or just correct my mistake by another cut or just fill the gap with some epoxy glue. Now this fold I'm making right now will hold against the cabin. It is a very strong attachment, although I'm not using any glue at this point. Later on I will add a drop of glue just for insurance. I will now skip to the next step, and you will see this bed is almost complete. It took me about half hour to get to this point where the bed is having this nice shape. And also there is a place for the rear wheels. I'm going to use the original base of the Hummer because the width of this base is the same as the complete structure. At the back I'm going to use this ambulance section, and it is going to be some kind of utility truck and something that you can use as a truck for road repairs, I guess. I'm going to close the wheel wells with some epoxy glue, and then I will add suspension parts for this truck. Now you can see that I've filled the gap with this epoxy glue, and I have waited about 3 hours until it cured completely. I will let the epoxy glue cure a little bit more, and in the meantime I will prepare the suspension parts for this truck. I've already made this front part for my suspension, and you can see that it has too much of travel. I don't want this truck to be this high. So now I'm going to shorten this part a little bit, and I'm not going to do it by cutting, and instead it will be just folding this part. I think it will create a better attachment to the truck. By the way, if you hear too much of background noises, it is because I have all my family with me. That is due to the fact that we are at a quarantine right now. You know, the corona issue. So again, I'm very sorry about the additional noises, but that's just the way it is, I guess. Off camera, I've already prepared my next part, and it is this spring here. I've already drilled a hole in it and also created this thread at the base. This is the point where I've decided I will go with different set of wheels. The tires here are too wide for this truck, and now you can see that I've chosen narrow plastic Maisto tractor tires. Now I'm just adding this bumper at the back, and it is made of wood. It is a nice and square shaped piece that will suit best for this kind of part, which is of course the rear bumper. Now for some additional parts, in order to add some realistic appearance for this truck. It is this handle here that you need to use if you wish to climb to this high door. Another part is, of course, a step in order to be able to reach this high door. And this is going to be the final piece I will add at this part of the video. I would like to say thank you again for watching and welcome all new subscribers for my channel. Take care, stay healthy, and I will see you at the second part of my Russian truck build.